Bringing communities together around the world.
Wow. Hi, guys. Thanks for clicking the play. My name is Ezmond. Welcome to the Singapore Forward podcast on the Singapore Community Radio. You know what? I want to share a little bit about social media marketing with all of you today. So, listen, if you are watching this or listening to this, you are probably on social media right now. Isn't that interesting? So what is social media marketing? Social media marketing is basically the utilization of the social media platforms to listen to what your audience needs, reach them in the most creative and engaging manner, and to attract, delight, and constantly engage them. So if you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, or a business owner, then it's one of the most fantastic way to drive traffic, to generate quantity and quality leads, and to fuel the growth of your business. And if you're a student, listen to this. You will get a lot of attention, you can grow your followers, and you can even monetize this in the short, mid, or long term. They won't teach you this in school, all right? Okay, guys, without further delay, I have a really interesting back history of our special guest. He was an ex-officer at the Singapore Prison Service, and then he transited into real estate, sold his first property within a few weeks. Today, he is selling between 11 to 20 properties every single month. Isn't that awesome? And he also has his own social media agency. So if you want to know more about social media marketing, then this gentleman right here is going to share more about it and his experience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have Melvin Lim from the Property Lim Brothers.
Right. Nice meeting you guys.
Hey.
Thanks, Ezmond, for the invite.
Thank you for being on my podcast. So Melvin, how are you doing? How's your life? How's everything? I want to know everything about you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, things are good. Things are good. Yeah, it's a nice start to 2020. Right. How about yourself, Ezmond?
It's been a pretty remarkable start of 2020, but I'm gonna be asking you more questions because this is about you today.
Sure.
All right. So Melvin, so where did all of this start? I believe all the audience, right? They probably would have seen you on Instagram, on Facebook, on display ads everywhere, and they're probably wondering, why is this property agent or property consultant so creative? Why is he doing so much? Why is he so tech savvy? So share with us, where did all of this start and what have you been going through?
All right. Yeah. So I actually started in the industry about 14 years back.
Sure.
Right. So I was, as what Ezmond mentioned, 3 years into Singapore Prison Service. Right. So I signed on a short bond as an officer. Once the moment that I finished my bond, I was contemplating, should I pursue the banking industry or real estate industry, because I actually graduated with a degree in banking and finance, right?
Oh, okay.
So at that point in time, being a young person in my early 20s, and I was already married. I had a child, my first son.
Sure.
And so it was a very important shift. But what happened was that I chanced upon my friend who was in the industry, and he actually wrote me in as a new agent. And then I started back then in the so-called what we call the olden days, right? Because
the traditional
days, yeah. But it was exciting. There were different set of challenges back then, 14 years back. So we were traditionally all using newspaper to sell.
Sure.
Property Guru hasn't even came on stream that time. The real estate industry was not so matured, unlike today, because the culture of property agents collaborating and stuff like that is all very fragmented. So it was a very old school kind of market, right? So fast forward to today, what we are doing right now for the past 3 years has been mainly on social media. So we sell and market properties for our clients primarily on social media, and we do a lot of that. We love building content. We love to create new stuff for the market. Importantly, we feel that this is the best way to go forward, because what we have noticed since about 5 to 6 years ago is that if we were to still continue to just market properties on portals and newspaper, in terms of eyeballs and attention, it has been rapidly dropping. Of course, in Singapore, portals are still great. The only thing is that we felt that having a content, it will work very well for our clients' properties. It allows us to be creative, allows us to do a lot of different kind of stuff for the properties. I make real estate a little bit more exciting, right?
So I believe in your industry because I don't want to generalize it, right? But most property agents wouldn't want to do what you were doing. And you started around 2016, right? Like towards the end of 2016, that's when you started, doing paid media, creating different angles, video shooting. So where did you get this idea from, or what motivated you to actually do this?
Yeah, so I was doing things pretty much like the rest of our real estate sales professionals. So every time we have a property that's up for sale, and the client appoints us to sell the place, we'll go in, whip out our phones, and then we'll start taking some photographs, and then we'll pump it on the property portals. And that, in my context today, I call it a wait and see kind of approach, because I feel powerless as a real estate professional, because I'm supposed to be the professional and the expert for my client. But I feel powerless in the sense that this seems to be like the only platform that I can depend on to sell a property, right? And all I can do is just to post it. I can adjust the brightness of the photos a little bit, put in more description, but I can only wait. I can't control what I want to do with marketing and advertising, right? So back then, since about 6 years ago, which is in 2014, I actually tell myself that I will stop doing printed media, because we were also using printed media to market our clients' properties as well as to get new clients, but we have noticed the huge dip in ROI. And that huge dip actually made a commitment to myself, is that I'm going to chop my hands from printing flyers. I'm going to chop my hands from doing printed media, because I feel that the ROI as a business point of view is not working and it's not helping my clients as well. So about 4 years ago, I chanced upon a lot of very interesting videos coming from America. And I was just asking myself, why are we not doing this in Singapore? And I started to look at what Singapore real estate market is doing and what the states are doing. And I just realized that, yes, in Singapore, there are some property agents that are actually using some videos taken from their phones and cameras. But the interesting thing is that they are mainly panning videos. That means panning videos with music, but there's no human... there's no human content, right? So there's no presenter in the home itself. So we decided to give it a shot. A lot of inspiration came from America. I think they are way more advanced than where we are today, at least like 3-4 years ahead of us. So we decided to start the first home tour video with a presenter in the home itself, and that was in the late 2016.
When I saw this ad, targeted at me, and I was like, whoa, this because I am doing digital marketing, I run an agency. I'm like, whoa, this agent wants to do something different. Like, he is creating, is building, and that was pretty cool. And I'm glad that I managed to have you on my podcast. Thanks once again for being here.
No problem.
Okay, so it sounds like you got some inspiration from the US market, what the agents were doing there, what the industry was about, because digital, few years ago they were ahead of us, and now we're trying to catch up, right, with them. What are the challenges that you went through? Because when you started, you which was almost 4 years ago, no one was doing it, I believe, at your scale.
Yeah.
And you have to learn everything. You have to pick up the tools, know the techniques, the strategies. How did you learn this on your own?
Right. Yeah. So when we first got the idea of trying for a home tour content with presenter inside, the immediate challenge that we faced was the receptibility of our clients, right? So are they willing to allow their properties to be exposed in such a manner, all right, which is on a video format? Because everybody has been very used to seeing properties on photographs, still images, and it is very safe. It's a very safe approach. So the very first thing is to communicate this and see what's the receptibility of our clients. Number two is that where am I going to get the videographer to help me to do this, right?
Exactly. That requires a lot of effort, a lot of work to pick the right one. Then you have to edit it.
Yeah. So I know nuts about editing. I know nuts about videographing it. and I know nuts about social media as well. So I don't even use my Facebook account. I mean, I grew up with like a little bit on Friendster and stuff. Right?
MySpace and Friendster, and then there was what, Amazon. You probably went through all this.
I mean, if you know Friendster, you could be as old as me, like 39 years old.
Okay,
so.
let's not go there. Let's not go there, guys.
So I'm not even active on my personal social media. So I think, I mean, at that time, all this obstacles were sort of like laid out in front of me, but I know that if I can master this and I can get through this, it's going to be, I have just had this sense of feeling that it's going to be exciting, right, for the market.
Yeah.
And it just renew a kind of passion for me for the real estate industry as well. So I just feel that I just took it on as like a personal kind of challenge. Yeah. So the very first thing I got was very thankfully I have this friend. I have this friend who has a little bit of knowledge about social media marketing. He's doing social media for some F&B restaurants. So I immediately reached out to him. I said, hey bro, are you able to help me a little bit on my Facebook? And that time I haven't even started on Instagram. So it's just Facebook itself. And then I asked him, hey, do you know anyone who knows how to do videography? So he got on his wedding videographer to help us shoot the first few videos. All right, and that's how we got started. And actually, my first video was done on a GoPro. It's done on GoPro, and then we got to patch up the voice later on. We record the voice on a voice recorder. So they actually use FCP to patch it up later. So it was just done using a GoPro, and we just went, hey, do it. Right. So the first one was definitely nerve breaking. So I wrote the script. I read it for 2-3 days. And I was sweating non-stop doing it. I asked my clients whether can they go down and have coffee, and then so that I got some private space. They were also like clueless, you know what I was trying to do. Yeah. So I told them it's going to be a video with me presenting it. So they said, oh, such is a nice idea. So they let me try it. Yeah. So that's how it went. That was for the first one.
So I'm visualizing whatever you just said.
Right.
And it sounds like you had to learn, and then you had to reiterate the process. There was probably failures, mistakes, a lot of changes made. So what are your thoughts on failures? Like people, the audience watching this, some of them could be even frightened thinking of themselves doing it. So what are your thoughts on how you can use fear or the self-doubt to actually just move forward with the goal, with that outcome that you want?
Right.
What was your experience like? How did you just move forward with that?
Yeah, so I realized through this process for the past 3 years on what Ezmond just mentioned on the topic of fear. This is a very real topic, especially for my background. And my background was that I was not a natural person who knows how to speak fluently. I mean, even right now, I still have some instances of broken English and stuff like that. So I grew up speaking broken English. I was raised and born in a traditionally Chinese-speaking family. Right. So I also had some past experiences of a little bit more like a traumatic event, which I shared in my vlogs on PLB Vlogs in our YouTube channel. You can head on the Property Lim Brothers and have a look at it. So there were some instances during my school days, where I did my first few tries of public speaking, and then my friends laugh at me, and then it was like a mark on my life that I tell myself, hey, I probably can't speak in front of people. So all this thing actually accumulated to adulthood, right? And when I decided to do this, there was one very huge fear, which is the fear of other people's opinion. And that was the largest fear that was blocking me.
I feel you.
Yeah, so fear of other people saying that, I can't make it, a fear of whether will this thing work out, will the market accept this, will people...
Fear of rejection.
Fear, it's all like mixed into
totally
one.
Get it.
Yeah.
Especially in sales, and then now you're trying to enhance your marketing.
That's right.
With sales itself, it requires you to really just keep overcoming your fear of overcoming obstacle, and now you just created another one by yourself, and you have to overcome that.
That's right.
Yeah. So how did you convince yourself or change your beliefs? Like, what were there some steps?
Yeah.
Did you do anything that helped?
Fortunately, I mean, over the years, I have grew to be more like a reader. So I do read a lot. Started from fiction books all the way to self-help, motivation, business, leadership. So a lot of reading over the years actually helped me shape my mindset. And there was then this opportunity at just 3 years back at age 35, 36. And I just felt that, we only have one life, right? And why do we want to think too much about stuff that we want to achieve or we want to do or we want to try? So why don't we just do it, right? So it was at that point that I told myself, it's okay, I just take a step at a time and then just see how it goes. Even if these things fail, I just take it as an experiment. I don't really have to care about what people think about it, because all I want to do is I want to tell myself the reason I want to do this video is for the benefit of my client. And I just keep telling myself the reason for the video is to sell the home. The reason for the video is to get more eyeballs on my client's property. The reason is to help them, to add value. So when I come from this perspective of helping my client, I feel more empowered, because it's no longer about me. It's really about the property, bringing out the best things about the property, and then helping my client achieve their objective. So I think it's really about what is the motivation, because sometimes when the motivation is really about us, and if it's only us, then we will really be very worried about people's opinion and the fear of failure and stuff like that. Right, so I think that's
yeah. So you were giving freely because you strategized what you wanted to do, and then you took action on it. Even though you had fear, you used the fear to keep propelling forward, having in mind what your clients will benefit, like how you are able to solve their problems, and in your case, you have to sell their property or do something with that. So by enhancing their marketing process or even the sales process, you are actually helping them, and when they are happy, you feel more contented, fulfilled with what you have been doing. So rather than to focus on yourself, think about yourself, have that fear, think of what other people talk about you, you use that to move forward, right?
That's
all
right.
those issues. What would be your biggest failure, like throughout your career? Like the one that really made you probably shattered, sad. I'm not sure. There could be, there may not be. I'm not sure. But the one that really probably made you feel enlightened, or if there was any, is there any?
Right. Yeah. So I had two major turning point in my real estate career. So the very first one was the very first step to step out of a fixed pay kind of arrangement. Right. So back then, I still remember the very core reason why I wanted to sign on as a prison officer while I was doing my degree was due to the fact that I no longer have enough funds to pay for my third year of my university. So, and at that time, I was very motivated to get married with my girlfriend. Right, so we made a choice. I said that, okay, it's okay. I'll go and sign on for 3 years. During these 3 years, I'll do part-time. I'll finish up the course. I'll still complete the degree with my fixed salary. We're going to get married. We're going to buy a house. And after 3 years, I will come out and get back into the banking industry, making use of my degree. So the first turning point was the decision to come out of this fixed pay arrangement, because there were a lot of fear. I just got married. I already have a HDB flat. I had my first child, 6 months old, and my whole family was against the fact of coming out.
Okay, this sounds endless.
Yeah, it sounds endless. So I mean, everybody was like worried about me.
So when you got into, did you have your first child before you got into property, or
yes, I got my first child before I got into property. So I already had commitments,
huge commitments, right?
Yeah.
You're married, and then you have your
my
parents,
property,
your house, and then you have your child.
Yes, that's right. And then I have to give up my fixed salary arrangement, come out to an unknown world, right? And everybody was telling me, like, property is the dog eat dog world, so you got to be ruthless and stuff like that. So it's not easy to sell one of the biggest asset of everybody's life here in Singapore. So
and it's quite a saturated industry, I believe. Even when you got into it, there were already like thousands of agents out there.
Yeah, it wasn't regulated at that time. There were even more than probably about 50,000 agents at that time. So anybody can be an agent.
So that's why now the exams are
the exams are fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it just made the whole industry more professional. Yeah. So back then, the very first thing was I would say mastering the courage to step out. Right. So there were people in my life that helped me to make that decision. I'm very thankful for that. And so that was the first part. The second part was just about 6 years back. right? So 6 years back, I actually had one of the very major setback in my life. So I made a mistake in my business, and that virtually wiped off every single cent I had in my business account, and it wiped off every single cent I had in my personal bank account. So I literally had to start from zero, and I already had 3 kids.
Wait, three kids. Wait, you
Yeah,
So
so this is 6 years ago.
okay, so from 1 kid you leveled up to 3 kids.
Right. And
Okay,
very
so
thankfully last year God gave me a 4th one. So
Oh, congrats,
yeah,
man.
Thanks. Right.
That's great. So
Yeah.
with 3 kids, you're married, and that's when you had your huge failure.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
made a major mistake because of a character flaw. I would say
Sure.
also because of the way that I run my business. It was not a very glamorous part of my life. So from that point onwards, actually I made a commitment that I actually declared that I would want to run the business with integrity. I mean, and I declared to everybody who knows me that I told them that actually God gave me this business, right? So that's my personal form of motivation, that this current brand now was given to me and inspired to me by God. So 6 years ago, after I declared that I would run my business with integrity, I changed the entire business model. I started from scratch, and so I started to do things one client at a time, and we changed the way that we run marketing, we run viewings and stuff. But that time was still the very traditional days, and I still haven't got the idea of the social media and the video content and stuff. So 6 years ago was like a purge for me. So it was starting from scratch again, writing out, and then building up my courage again, and just doing things patiently. And then it was like 3 years back that we formed out this brand, and yeah, that's where we are today. So
What is the brand called again?
Property Lim Brothers.
Okay,
Right.
I believe a lot of people would have seen the little bit of blue, right? It's like your brand identity.
Yeah,
Pretty
round
cool.
and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
the
cool. I
logo.
saw it. So
Right.
when you had that huge failure, especially with so many commitments, I believe you're anxious, you're fearful. Were you depressed? Was there a part of you that felt like life is not worth living? Like you have done so much, and then this went off just like that, and you back to ground zero, right? You have to
Yeah.
restart everything again, and you're not sure it's gonna work.
Yeah,
Do you feel
I mean,
depressed?
at age like 33 and then starting from zero with a lot of mouth to feed, I was I'm just like thinking like, where should I start, and what are really the things that I have done which is not in line with my values in life, right? So that particular 2 years was really a realignment of my values, realignment of the meaning of work, realignment of running the real estate practice, and about who am I as a father, who am I as a husband, who am I as somebody that wants to add value to the community, right? So that period was, I wouldn't say that I was having depression or sort, but I would say that it was a very down period. It was one of actually my darkest days, and there were a lot of times that I would just spend my time reading. Yeah, so I would just read. And just read a wide range of books, spend more time with my kids, and then I would talk to people, and I felt that it was a time that I can reconnect with people genuinely, right, and really see people as people. So one of the core values that we have is that we don't want to see the next client as a walking commission. We really want to see them as people who place their hard-earned money in their properties that their family is staying in, the properties that they buy, and we want to see them as a family unit. We want to see them as human beings that we can help and add value and build relationships. So it's really a lot of realignment of values to what I think is right and what I think will go on for the long run. And truly, I mean, after realigning it, I derive definitely 10x more satisfaction in my work, and I just felt that it's no longer about chasing the next deal, no longer chasing the next dollar. It's really about building more like a legacy, plus building this thing together with my team and serving the clients and the community. So yeah, so that was back then until now.
Yeah, that's super cool actually. So if there's someone watching this and if they are going through a really dark time, whether it's the exact same phase as what you went through or something different, but they feel depressive, they feel sad, what do you think they can do? Do you have any, I don't know, input or advice that what they can do to help themselves get out of their situation? Because sometimes you cannot change you cannot change the situation so quickly, but you can change the way you deal with it.
Right. Totally agree with you, Ezmond. Yeah.
So,
to those people out there, I mean, I usually wouldn't use the word that I understand your situation, because I think everybody have different life situation, life stage. There's no way that I can understand what you're going through. I would say that I have empathy with what you're going through if you are in such a situation. But something that I could take away was that back at the time, when I started from zero, money is a currency that everybody survive on, right? I would say that is not the most important thing in our life, but at the same time is important, right? So especially for me with a huge family commitment and $0, when I look at it, I think it's really through all the reading over the years, plus telling myself that it's okay, even though I'm 33, I'm running in the middle age of my life, but it's okay for me to start from scratch. I would just do it one small step at a time, one day at a time. So I think probably for me, what works was looking at day by day and having that kind of mindset that things are going to work out eventually. And I mean, it's end of the day, I still have my family with me, right? And I still have my kids with me. And also the support of my wife would tell me that even if I start from scratch, she will be with me forever. And so I think it's really the family support, but plus at the same time, just telling myself it's okay to start from scratch, all right? And don't care about what age am I in, don't compare myself with others, and just look at what I have on my hands in terms of my skill set, and then slowly to build it up again.
Sure. Right. So to break it down for the audience, just in case they want to apply it into their lives. So it's becoming aware of who you are, how you intend to show up in the world. Right. Reading helps. So maybe reading might help you as well.
Right.
Listening, making sure that the environment that you surround yourself with, it's positive and it's going to enrich you.
Right.
And most importantly, not focusing on the age, right? Because so many times people tend to say, oh, you're already this age, you should be this, you should be that, letting society conform what they think you should be at this age or that age. But rather than focusing on that, just focus on what you want to create for the future, for yourself and for the surroundings, and then being committed. Sounds like you are a super committed guy, man. I realize that you are disciplined. You are really disciplined. And yeah, that's also something that, just stay positive and keep moving forward with your goals. And to touch on discipline, do you have a daily ritual, like a routine that you follow every single day?
Right. Actually, the hardest person to manage and to discipline is ourselves. It's really tough.
That's true.
Like, this guy here is one of the toughest guy I need to manage.
Okay.
I don't have like a 5 a.m. routine and stuff. So my typical day usually starts at about 6 to 6:30. I wake my son up, make breakfast for him, and then he's off to his school. And then I would usually take the morning shift for my baby now. Yeah, so having kids probably help me to wake up early. And then so morning is usually time that I spend with my children. And then once it's at 8 o'clock, I hand my baby back to my wife, and I'll do a little bit of exercise, right? So the exercise part is of course a hurdle to me. I mean, because if I'm too busy with work, I will tend to want to give up on exercise. So now I'm trying to start back on a more regular routine in the morning. Just spend about 45 minutes, do some weights and stuff, and then I'll take a shower and I'll head to office. So I also like to practice having a 1 hour before I reach office, because as a team leader or the boss, I mean, that 1 hour really helps me to plan for the entire day. But of course, sometimes on Sundays, I would do it in the evening after my kids sleep. So I will use probably 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. to plan for the entire week, and then delegate out stuff. And then every day will be basically waking up at 6+, spend some time with the kids, and then heading back to office and stuff.
Okay, so you're pretty organized, even though you may
I
not be the
hope- I
most
hope-
disciplined,
I
but you're
hope-
organized and you try to.
Yeah, I use
Okay.
this concept from this book called The One Thing.
I love that
Yeah,
book.
so by Gary Keller. It's a fantastic book. I use a lot of time blocking.
Focus.
It really helps my life a lot. To time block time with my wife, with my family. Time block days that I'll do my content. Time block days that I'll meet clients. Time block days that I'll do home tours and stuff. So a lot of time blocking really helps as well.
Sure. Let's quickly talk about the property industry as well, the real estate industry, because some of the audience or even people whom I know have a misconception. Like, and there's like a quadrant or something, you know. There are agents that just sell, rent, do their own stuff, and then there are the teams. There's an agency. There is different things going on. Some perceive themselves as a solopreneur, some business owner. What is the difference? Some agents only do HDB, some do condos. Maybe you want to enlighten us on that as well.
Right. So in Singapore, I would say most agents out of the 30,000 agents in Singapore, they mostly under larger size agencies. Of course, there's a percentage of them who runs their own small agency. I mean, the large size one will be like the top 10 in Singapore, Propnex, ERA, Huttons, or Orange Tea, and a couple of companies like that. So the model that Singapore industry runs for the property agency market is that once you pass your exam, you have to sign on with an agency as an independent contractor. Right, so in exchange with signing on with them, of course, you will derive value from the company in terms of training support. You get legal support. You get administrative support. You also get leverage on the projects that the company undertakes from the developers. So there will be, of course, like most people will choose companies based on new projects support plus training derived from the teams that they join, right? So that's how most people work. But I would say probably about 90% of property agents in Singapore, they are mainly solopreneurs. So if we were to break down based on business models on how property agents run their business, I would say there are 4 categories. So the first category will be being a solopreneur, and that is running everything mostly like a one-man. Mostly like an independent contractor or freelancer kind of style. So you run everything yourself. You go for viewings, appointment. You meet clients for presentations, for pitches. You answer phone calls. You drive around. You run your ads yourself. You edit your photos yourself. You do your administration stuff yourself and stuff. So everything is dependent on a solo person. And then the second model will be what some agents would like to do is they partner with another agent to form a partnership, and then they share their risks, they share their costs, they share their profits and stuff. And then of course the third model will be somebody in what we call like a rockstar model. A rockstar model is technically a solopreneur who starts to employ people. So probably they will employ an administration person, in short a PA, and probably they'll employ a telemarketer to make cold callings for them. Probably they'll start to employ like a marketer to run some ads for them and stuff like that. And of course the fourth one is what we are running right now, is called a team model, right? So the team model is whereby there's usually a team leader, like myself, and then we will have a group of people which are my so-called my sales team is running the show together with us, right? So we run a team model because we love to collaborate. We love to work on projects together, just like a little bit like your agency, right? We have like project managers and stuff. Sure. So team model is what we are at now. So basically what I see so far is like these 4 models in the market.
Yeah, it makes more sense. So basically a property agent, if they are a solopreneur, then they have to generate their own leads, whether it's going to be traditional methods or the more unconventional creative methods, and then they have to go out there, do the viewing. You know, most agents drive as well. You have to bring your clients around, and there's so many things to do within that. I don't know how many hours agents work. It's like 24 sometimes, right? Like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. So many things to do. But with a team, you are provided with training. So you might go through everything from personal development to mindset to sales, and then you have the marketing done. So it's like a done for you. For your associates, the people in the team, right? And what they have to do is stay in alignment with what the Property Lim Brothers is about, and then go there and make contact with the clients and get them their desired home, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, if you're just focusing on selling, then the clients might not be happy with their newfound home. Technically, you're blessing them. Yeah, that's quite interesting actually. So it really comes down to perspective and mindset, like what you perceive you're doing as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So if there's a student out there, because I believe in polytechnics there's real estate course. If I'm not wrong, like real estate or something like that, or if they are intending to go into real estate, what would be your advice to a student or even an adult that intends to delve into the real estate industry? Like, what should they look out for, or at least be aware?
Right, when planning to come into the real estate industry,
to be maybe they're inspired by you, and they want to be a real estate agent or a consultant. What should they do? How do they find out more, learn more? Right.
So back to the topic of the 4 different models, right? So every model has its own pros and cons, right? So some people do very well as a solopreneur. Some people flare very well as being in a partnership. Some people love to be a rock star, having their own brand and stuff like that. And some people actually perform much better when they're in a team. So I think for somebody that's coming on to the industry, if they pass the exam and stuff like that, the very important thing is that to know what you really want in the long term. I think there's no hard and fast rule. Most people start off as a solopreneur first to see whether they can strike it out on their own, whether they can build their own brand. Do they like to do things on their own every day? And after probably testing out for a year or so, and then you could probably after closing a couple of deals, you will get a sense of, you know, what kind of business model will work best for your strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, so I think the very important thing is to step out and then to try and not to worry so much, because I think a lot of people suffer the moment that they start in their first year of the industry, is that they bring on I would say an employee mindset to the industry, and they are technically, being a solopreneur is that you are your own boss, but they think as if there will be someone that will actually instruct them what to do every day. So I think the number one killer of the drop-off rate in the real estate industry is coming on being a solopreneur or entrepreneur, but thinking that there will be someone there to give them business every day and wait for things to happen and stuff like that. So I think being a first year solopreneur, you really have to take massive action. You have to really think like a boss. You have to drive your business aggressively.
Be resilient. Yes. Be resilient, constantly have goals and work towards it. Yes. Because things don't get served to you, right?
Yes.
And you have to constantly motivate yourself. So how many people do you have in your team today?
Right. So I actually run 2 teams.
Okay.
And we run our own inside sales team under the Property Lim Brothers brand. We also coach a team under Melvin Lim division. So our business is actually an umbrella under PropNext Realty. So we do not have our own agency, but we own our own media agency, and we run our team in this kind of fashion. So I coach a bunch of people who are aspiring solopreneurs, who are aspiring partnership people who wants to build their own brand. And at the same time, I run my own sales team and media team under the Property Lim Brothers umbrella. Right, so that's the 2 things I do.
It sounds like a dream team. Yeah. I think there's like a phrase, right? Like something like work as a team or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it really does sound like a dream team, because almost everything is provided. You're doing training, the sales, the marketing to really enhance all the experience. And I did. Our researcher found out that you are selling between 11 to 20 properties. I'm not sure of the exact figure, but it's at 11 and above. Is that all from social media marketing, or is there also like word of mouth, a little bit here and there?
Yeah, I would say probably about 90% of our client base today comes from social media, and then 10% will be from our past clients, right?
Recurring,
recurring clients. Yeah, so I would say that the business is mainly driven, and we are very excited to be on the social media platforms and and we just love to create content, just love what we do right now.
Right. What are your thoughts on digital transformation? Because you're tapping into the huge resource and platform out there, which is social media marketing under the digital marketing quadrant. So what are your thoughts on digital transformation? Do you have any insights on how you think it's going to constantly shape the world?
Right. I think definitely it'll be here to stay. It is it is like the lifeblood of communication, and everybody's using it every day. In fact, it has become part of our lives, and that's where our attention is every day. So like what Gary Vee mentioned is that it is important to go to where people's attention is an attention game right now. So from a business point of view, based on digital transformation, I think it's very important to be on the platforms, and end of the day is really to value add to your consumers, to your audience, because that is where the audience is at, right? So
makes sense.
Yeah, because if they are there and you are not delivering value at those platforms, then your business is not visible. Right.
So know where your audience are,
right,
and then add value to them by reaching them, right? Not waiting for them to search for you, because if you really want to create high value, you would be constantly putting not just the brand, but reaching them, being more forthcoming as well.
That's right.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and we saw, Singapore probably like 3 years back, we've already started to see the effects of us marketing properties on social media, and then it has started to take shape. But in the past, I would say probably 18 months, it has become more matured in a sense. Why do we say that? Is because we actually track every buyer that actually come to view our properties, and we will ask for feedback. Well, have you seen the ads and stuff like that? So, in the past 12 to 18 months, we have noticed there's a growing trend of close to 60-70% of our viewership of physical buyers coming to view the properties actually coming from social media, and 30% are from the traditional platform. So we're really seeing that the attention has shifted, and probably because of our busy lifestyle, most of the time when you put out your phone, the very first few things you look at is your WhatsApp, your mail, followed by Facebook, Instagram, and then YouTube and stuff. So it has probably became like a default kind of go-to place on your phone itself. Yeah. So I think it's importantly is that businesses should go to where clients and audiences' attention is being located at.
And with the coronavirus going on right now, the coronavirus. Right. Oh my gosh, I'm the one that sounds like my English is a little bit broken. You sound really articulate. You have good resonance.
No.
So what do you think? With the virus outbreak right now, do you think there will be more audience on the internet platforms?
I think I'm not sure what are the stats, but I think from our perspective is that the amount of inquiries over this past months has not dipped. It has it's almost like the same like pre-coronavirus thingy. So I think as people probably has a little bit more time, but that they are probably staying at home and stuff.
They're scrolling through their phone,
Yes.
they'll be on their laptop,
Yes.
they will be seeing a lot of targeted ads, especially if they have interest in that, right? Because that's how targeted ads work.
That's right. The amount of people that's calling us to inquire about properties we sell is still about the same as pre the virus situation. So, but of course, physical viewership has dropped a little. By about 20-30%.
Yeah, that's quite normal, right? Because people are trying to avoid contact.
That's right.
But then they are present on the internet, and that's where most of the people are today. So if anyone wants to get attention, that's where you can get today. It's the quickest way to build rapport and get engagement. So what is your vision for 2020? It's the start of a brand new decade. What is your vision? You mentioned legacy. So what is that to you?
Yeah, so we have a crazy vision, which is to really change how real estate is being marketed in Singapore. That's one of our crazy vision. At the same time, while doing that, in terms of our team, is to really create an environment and create an experience that real estate is actually exciting and fun to do together as a team. And our personal goal for our guys is to have an environment where everybody can be at their natural best. And by doing that, that will mean that we can create really high value experiences for our clients in terms of marketing, selling their properties and delivering improving quality content to our audience as well. So actually our core vision for the next probably about 5 to 8 years is that we really want to be a platform whereby we have very high quality content when it comes to real estate, and audiences can really come onto our platforms and derive a lot of free value from there when they want to sell properties, when they want to buy properties, when they want to seek so-called advice, or they just want to know what is happening on the ground. And even if they are a first-time buyer or they are an experienced investor, there will be something for them relating to the Singapore property market. So that's basically our vision, is to really create awesome content for the community. So
and you have an Ask series now that you mention it, right? Like a question and answer kind of concept.
So we have an Ask series playlist which talks about FAQs that our audiences have sent in over the years.
And that's cool. Okay.
So they drop comments, they send email to us. So we answer those questions on the Ask series via a video content format. We also have an Invest series that talks about what to take note of when you're buying properties and investing in properties. And we have a couple of series. I mean, also we're also planning to start our own podcast channel upcoming next month. So gonna learn more from Ezmond, yourself, and your team. And so that podcast is going to be focusing on businesses, leadership, at the same time on what the business leaders and business owners perspective on the property market in Singapore. So it's
interesting.
So okay. I think you'll definitely be one of the guests that will be looking after.
Yeah, here's something interesting, right? If I did not get into digital marketing, run an agency that creates a lot of value and helps businesses solve problems, I would have actually gone into property, because I love sales. I love the whole aspect of being on the ground, meeting new people, forming relationships, and giving them an ideal outcome and a desired outcome that they want.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'll look out for your podcast. And if people actually want to find you, besides on Instagram, because your platforms is
Facebook,
Instagram, YouTube, and you have your website as well.
A website. And
everything is Property Lim Brothers.
Property Lim Brothers, yeah. You can just go to propertylimbrothers.com. Just go to YouTube and type in Property Lim Brothers. It will be there. Yeah, and hopefully our podcast channel will be out soon as well. Right.
Sure. It's cool. We can keep going on. All right, cool. I've got something pretty cool. It's going to be a little bit tricky.
Right.
A little bit tricky.
Right.
So this actually started by a European. I can't remember his name, but it became well known and quite famous on the Actors Studio.
Right.
Have you watched the Actors Studio?
Actors Studio,
No, okay. So the Actors Studio was basically a series on YouTube where the host would ask all these Hollywood celebrities questions right at the end. And I come from a creative background from the entertainment industry before I got into business several years ago. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to recreate that into our show, modify the questions. So are you ready? Are you ready to have the questions asked?
All right. So it's like, you ask me questions as I just answer
I'll
them.
ask you a question. We can create some urgency. So maybe 5 seconds. You're given 5 seconds.
Right.
You got to answer the question.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
How many questions would that be?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
All right. So what's your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yeah. Favorite word.
Courage.
Courage.
Right.
What's your least favorite word?
Least favorite word?
Yeah. The one that...
Procrastination.
Procrastination is a killer, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's right.
What is your favorite sound or noise?
Favorite sound?
Specific.
Sound. It's not music, right? Favorite music is jazz. Favorite sound is probably right now the laughter of my kids.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Right.
What's the least favorite sound?
Least favorite sound? Traffic noise. I'm not really a fan of traffic noise.
I feel you, man. I totally feel you, especially when you're doing work.
Right.
All right. What turns you on?
What turns me on? When there is challenges that I think that I can take on, something that's exciting. Yeah, something that is exciting and at the same time difficult. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. But I like to do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
What
doesn't turn you on? What turns you off?
Turns me off. people who are lazy, who loves to procrastinate. I'm really like a disciplined kind of freak, you know. So people who are lazy and procrastinate is a lot, and because I used to be that, right? So I hate the old me, right? So probably it'll be this category.
All right. What is your idea of happiness? Your definition or your idea on the word happiness. What is happiness to you?
Right. I think it's really waking up each day and knowing that you'll be doing stuff that you love to do, and at the same time, even though you might be doing stuff that you might not truly love, but it gives you satisfaction at the end of the day. Yeah.
Sure. So to live life to the fullest,
Right.
constantly create and do the things that you want to.
Right.
Okay, and what is your favorite curse word, man? I haven't heard you swear or curse at all, like even out of the podcast. What's your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word? I don't really have a favorite curse word, but there's something in our office, you know, every time our guys are afraid to be in front of the camera, we use the 3F approach.
What is the 3F
No,
approach?
it's not appropriate to say it here. It's just the 3F, and after
The F-bombs.
after they
Triple
say the 3F,
F-bombs.
they will dare to be in front of the camera, because that will give them courage not to care about people's opinions.
Right.
So that's basically it.
All right, and just last two more questions.
Right.
What profession other than the one that you're currently in would you like to try or do if you were not in real estate?
Actually, my dream was to be a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have
What's the difference? So you were an officer in the Singapore
prison service.
prison service.
Yes, that's right.
What's the difference?
I mean, police officer, you're outside in public. I mean,
Oh, this is in the prison.
Yes, as a prison officer, your core duty is in the prison itself. Yeah.
So you're always inside rather than like moving
Inside.
around. Do you have a gun?
No. I mean, we have a baton.
Okay, you have a
we
baton.
pepper spray and stuff.
So no gun. That's why you're disappointed.
gun,
You're
no
like, I want to
gun.
walk outside, have some gun. Okay, that's pretty cool, man. But I have to say, you're doing a great job. Whatever you're
right.
doing right now.
All
Okay,
right.
what profession would you not ever want to do, even if you're given the choice?
Even if I'm given the choice, ever.
Yes.
I can't think of any, but probably is
I don't know, firefighter, politics, or
no. I don't have
hospitality,
any.
anything? No,
Yeah.
no particular. So you're
Yeah,
you're
no
someone that
particular.
believes in going in there, giving your best, and
Yeah, I think
seeing how far you can go.
every industry is interesting. I mean, I was just surfing like Instagram the other day and just saw this nurse who just created their own channel. It's like fantastic. It's like 3 million followers and talking about.
Where did you see this
This
channel?
is like on Instagram, and then I link it to her YouTube, and then
Wow.
she's talking about stuff on medicine and stuff. And
The experience.
I mean, it's even like every profession you can create content, and
That's
it's just
true.
getting so exciting on the social media platforms.
That's so true. All right,
Right.
cool, man. Thanks for being
All
on
right,
the
man.
podcast. Is there
Ezmond.
any final words you want to share to our audience here?
Right.
Anything at all?
Right. I think the most important thing is to really to keep trying, and then to just follow what you think at this current stage in your life, what you have in your hands right now, based on the skill sets that you have. And then if you really have something that you want to try, is to go ahead and go out to try it. I still remember the very day when I was contemplating whether to resign from my previous job to come out in the real estate industry. I had this very senior prison officer told me, and I went to ask him for his advice, and I said that, hey sir, I'm really contemplating, you know, my family is against, my parents are against me coming out. My wife is supportive, but I was torn between, you know, staying on, and they were actually going to emplace me as a senior officer already, and I was contemplating whether I should resign and start afresh in the real estate industry. So this senior officer actually gave me a word of advice. He told me that, hey Melvin, you're just how old? Like age 26, all right? And what do you have to lose? I mean, what do you really have to lose? I mean, if you really can't make it, then you come back, right? You just re-interview and come back. I mean, what do you have to lose to do something that you think will be something that you probably derive more success and satisfaction, and you just want to try it, you know. So he actually encouraged me to resign, and I'm actually very thankful to him for that. To really to encourage me to try something.
You want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, and I think he knows who I am, right? I think he still remember. Yeah, so
is he on social media? Because this is
I
going
think
to be
I think we follow
or
we
you can
follow each
send-
other on Facebook and stuff.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
So, or else
yeah.
you can send him this clip, tag him there.
Yeah. So I think it's really
Yeah.
important to
Believe in yourself.
believe and just go out and try it, and yeah. All right.
Cool. All right, guys, check out Melvin. He has his own Instagram account as well, not just the Property Lim Brothers. You can check him out. Melvin Lim, right? Underscore. Where's the underscore?
Melvin _ Property Lim Brothers. Yeah.
All
So,
right.
so as long as you keep in Property Lim Brothers, you get to our business channel and you get to my personal channel as well.
Yeah,
Right.
And follow the Property Lim Brothers. If you're someone that is looking to have your real estate manage your house or anything at all, check him out. I think he has like 21,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's more than me. Okay, I gotta work on my game. But check him out, and thank you for watching this series.
All right.
I appreciate all of you. Stay tuned for the next one, and a huge shout out to everyone that is sharing this content as well. Have a great day and enjoy the next clip.
All right. Thanks, Ezmond.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.